Hey everyone, I was planning to do this video a little bit later, but since Marvel wanted to show that they own Hollywood by the balls, they moved forward the release date of Avengers of Infinity War by a week, so I figured I better do this right now. I was thinking about doing a video on the entire MCU, but that would take me like an entire week to do, and I don't have that much time. So instead, I figured I'd do the main Avengers movie since that's the next big release from the MCU right now. So without further ado, I'll show you how to Avengers. The film begins with Nick Fury talking to Eric Selvig about how the study of the Tesseract is going. Loki, who we thought was dead from the Thor film, which, trust me, that becomes a running theme with his character, comes back and uses his boomstick to kill a couple red shirts. He then sensually touches Eric Selvig and Hawkeye with his long stick. Hawkeye and Selvig are immediately entranced by Loki's long staff and follow his every commands. Loki then escapes with them with the Tesseract in a odd car chase sequence, and oh hey, it's an Avengers movie. Agent Coulson meets with Tony. Fury meets with Steve Rogers, aka Captain America, who's still adjusting to the 21st century after the events of the first Avenger. And Natasha Romanoff, aka Black Widow, meets with Bruce Banner, who is the Hulk. This, of course, gets our initial team together in order to start the plot. Loki finally gets down to business so Barton can steal this plot device in order to get the MacGuffin working. Loki gets easily captured by Captain America and Iron Man, and oh man, it just seemed like his plan was so close to coming together. How could he possibly let himself get caught? It's almost like he wanted to get caught. It's a trap! Thor finally shows up. Somehow, and he doesn't look like a Ken doll anymore. After stealing away Loki, Thor, Iron Man, and Captain America fight, and what the hell? I thought Civil War was supposed to happen later. Anyway, they're all together now, and surprise, Loki did the good old I plan to get captured move. There's then a lot of boring talking stuff that really doesn't amount to anything until our next action sequence, which is just a normal gunfight. Yay? Thor and Hulk fall out of the helicarrier, and Tony and Steve mourn the death of Agent Coulson, who... death has no consequence. The film's climax takes place in New York because, irony, and a big space laser is making a portal which allows aliens to come to Earth. The movie finally decides to become an Avengers movie, and we get a pretty damn good finale. Loki is defeated and the Earth is saved, the movie ends, and the single longest tease in Hollywood begins. And that's the Avengers. I mean, it made $1 billion at the box office, if that tells you everything you need to know. Every single person who's in this movie fits the roles to a T. You know, Chris Evans as Captain America, Robert Downey Jr. as Iron Man. Everybody does their characters just perfectly, and they all work perfectly too. You can believe that every single one of these people exist in this universe, and all their egos are just sort of combating each other. The one thing I have to say, whenever I rewatched this movie very recently, it feels incredibly uncinematic. Like, I don't know what it is, if it's just the cinematography or the lighting, just something about the way this movie looks makes it feel cheap, which is not something I felt from an MCU movie or just any movie that's been released majorly in theaters like this in a long time. I don't know if it's just me or if other people have felt this way. So if you have, please let me know, because I'm very, very curious about it. Avengers Age of Ultron begins with the team assaulting a Hydra compound. There's enough one-liners and silly moments to make sure you know that there's not actually a threat going on in this movie, so you don't have to worry about anyone. Newcomer Scarlet Witch manipulates Tony's mind to believe that more aliens are coming to Earth and that he needs to complete an AI called Ultron in order to protect everyone using Loki's staff from the previous film. Tony is successful at completing the artificial intelligence known as Ultron, but because it's a movie, this artificial intelligence reinterprets its mission to destroy mankind in order to protect the Earth, and that's the movie. And let's face it, if the mission is to protect the Earth, it's probably just a good idea to wipe out humanity. We kinda suck. Ultron recruits Scarlet Witch and Quicksilver, aka Wanda and Pietro Maximoff respectively. Ultron is on a mission to get some vibranium from the arms dealer Ulysses Klaue, played by Andy Serkis. Wanda hypnotizes the Avengers, excluding Hawkeye, because reasons. She makes the Hulk go wild and attack a city, while Tony puts on the Hulkbuster outfit in order to subdue him. Because Hawkeye has been more or less useless up to this point, the movie decides to give him some character development. The Avengers shack up at his place where we meet his family, and it's admittedly a nice scene. We get teased even more as Thor goes off and does stuff with the Infinity Stones and Thanos, and we get some more Civil War set up with Tony and Cap. They eventually figure out that Ultron's plan is to use the vibranium to make a new body for himself, along with the stone from Loki's staff, which is now yellow for some reason. This just gives it a little bit of extra juice, a little bit of BAM! Tony also discovers that his own personal AI, Jarvis, is still alive after Ultron killed him earlier in the movie. Death has no consequence. The Avengers are able to steal the body away from Ultron, the Maximoffs join them, and Black Widow gets kidnapped because the only thing this movie needed was a damsel in distress. Thor finally decides to join the movie again, hammers in a new life known as the Vision with the body that Ultron made with the sort of programming mind of Jarvis. Vision turns out to be pretty cool and he decides to help. The final battle begins in a city in the fictional country of Sokovia, with Ultron's plan to wipe out humanity being to lift a very large chunk of rock out of the earth and then let it drop back down like the meteor did with the dinosaurs. What? The Avengers avenge, Pietro bites it. Somehow, Ultron gets got and the Hulk flies away into space. Somehow. The Avengers get set up into a new team, which immediately gets split up in Civil War, so you know, whatever. Glad we set that up. And of course, the tease continues. I still find Age of Ultron to be a fun movie. It's just a lot of things happen for the sake that, oh, this needs to happen in order to set up these next few movies, which, God, that's annoying. That is so annoying. And it kind of ruins the movie for me because whereas the first Avengers felt like a big culmination of everything that had come before it, Avengers Age of Ultron isn't a culmination. It isn't a small climax of the movies up until this point. Age of Ultron was there to set up Infinity War eventually and Civil War. That's it. It's a very, very sort of haberdashery kind of movie. And it's still enjoyable. It's still enjoyable to watch, but man, is it a letdown after the first one. The cinematography, though, actually looks better, though, so there's that. Okay, and this is the big one. This is the one that's gonna burn Hollywood to the ground as everyone tries to figure out how to make $2 billion off of one movie, excluding Avatar. But yeah, Avengers Infinity War. I like the MCU. I like the idea of it, and I like most of the movies. It's just at this point, you know, like, I don't care anymore. There's so many of these movies, and there's just I feel like it's gonna change with Infinity War, but there's no stakes. Like, I know at the end of pretty much every MCU movie, you know, the hero's gonna walk away, he's gonna be fine. Again, I feel like that could change in Infinity War because they're hyping it up that, oh yeah, some people are gonna die, but I feel like they're gonna back out of it, because if they kill one hero, that means that specific hero's sort of major fan base is gonna get all mad that they killed off that one hero. How could they kill off this character? And then they're just gonna bring him back and death has no consequence. But I really hope they don't. I hope they kill a character and they stick to their guns, so it feels that it feels like that there's actual consequences in this universe. That's all I want. I just want to feel like that there's consequences to what happened. And Civil War already kind of bumbled that, because, you know, Civil War was a major event in the comics, and it's just kind of, it's still a great movie. Civil War is probably one of the best MCU movies, but as far as establishing consequences and making sure that, you know, things have lasting effects, I'm excited for Infinity War. I hope it turns out good, and I'm wondering how you guys are feeling about it, so please let me know. Anyway, until next time, I will see you later. Bye-bye.